welcome to Senior Moments here on C19.tv and on Spectrum Cable. This is a broadcast service of Cleveland Community College, and we hope that you do share that link, C19.tv, with your friends and family if you like what you see on the show. Help other people get the same information. I am Jackie Sibley Newton, your host, and today we have Brandy Willis and Danielle Kraft with Senior TLC. You guys have a brand new building here in Cleveland County, and I bet a lot of people have been wondering, what is that? What's that about? What do you guys do? Now, you've been Senior TLC for a while. You've had a building in Gastonia. Where else are there Senior TLCs? Is that primarily where they are?
We also have a building in Charlotte,
Okay.
and we have one in Gastonia, and then we have one here in Shelby that covers Cleveland and Rutherford counties.
And tell me exactly, what is Senior TLC? What do you do?
We do a multitude of things. Senior TLC is an all-inclusive healthcare management group that has a goal of keeping individuals age 55 years old and older safe and happy in their home.
Mm-hmm.
So we are able to assist with personal care in the home. That may include bathing, dressing, grooming, just getting ready for the day. We have our own transportation department that can assist seniors getting to medical appointments, to our adult day center, also accessing any resources in the community. We also have the adult day center there, that brand new building you spoke of. That is a place where individuals can come for a variety of different reasons. Maybe they don't need to be alone during the day while their loved ones or families work. So they can come and be safe with us, have meals with us. If they need to see a primary care provider, they can do that there at the center, as well as access our physical therapy gym for any physical therapy or occupational therapy needs.
And if people want to come and tour that building, can they set up a tour? Can they set up a time if they have a family member that maybe wants to look and see if that's something that would benefit them?
Absolutely. We get calls almost daily, either people passing by not sure of what the building is, or just word of mouth where individuals want to come in and see for themselves what the day center actually is, and we're happy to do that. They can give Danielle or I a call, and we'll be happy to make time to show off the new buildings.
I've been in there, and it's phenomenal.
It is. Yeah,
It's
there's a lot going on in there.
amazing. Yes, there is so much, and it looks like a big building from the outside, but something happens inside. It's like Mary Poppins' bag. It just
is.
expands
It
in
is.
there. There is so much.
It is, it's a lot.
And it covers so many different aspects of needs in that building. So if a family member is at home and they're thinking, I don't really want to go live I definitely don't want to go to a nursing home. I don't want to go into assisted living yet. What else can I do? Do they call you? Do they need a referral from anybody, or do they call you directly?
They could stop in there, talk to one of us if we're in there, because we're in and out a lot. They could go on our website and schedule, a time to meet, or they could just call us directly, Brandy or myself, and we'll set up a time, either if they want to come in, or we usually go to their house and speak to them. So we can
Okay.
kind of, they're just a little bit more comfortable in their house, and then we could kind of see other stuff that maybe we could ask questions on. So
Is it important that you go to the home and sort of see what kind of living arrangements that they have?
we prefer to do that just so we could, when they're interested in enrolling, we could bring that back to the team and say, this is what I've noticed, this is the condition of the house, this is what's going on. It's just better to meet them where they're at in their environment.
So I know sometimes things may go a little longer than they should have before people realize they need help. And we really want people to not let it go that far, but things happen gradually. You don't realize how far you think, oh, well, that needs to be repaired, and I don't really have the means to repair that yet. And then you forget about it. You just learn to live with it. Little things just start to creep up on you after a while. So I would think that going to the home would be an important part of this process is
Yes.
seeing what maybe needs to be assessed in the home that's a safety hazard, in addition to what kind of services the person's going to need.
Right, right. And that's part of our job, to go there and kind of look at, maybe they have rickety steps, so maybe we might have to put, a ramp out there to get them in and out if the team approves that. Maybe they need assist rails in the bathroom. Maybe they need a shower chair. We look at all that and then we assess that. The home care coordinator sets all the home stuff, and then we just kind of go from there and put what we need to keep them safe.
So if they call and they've been assessed and we realize there's a fit, what are you looking for to say, yes, you are definitely a fit for the services we offer, or maybe something different is needed, or no, you don't really need our services? Like, what are you looking for when you're meeting with someone?
We definitely want to hear the story of the family that we're working with and find out first and foremost what their goal is. If it is their goal to remain safe in their home and live as independently as possible, then they definitely would be a candidate for enrollment with Senior TLC. The eligibility is very simple. Just have to be 55 years or older, need some assistance with, being cared for at home or taking care of yourself at home with some support, and just live in our catchment area of Gaston, Cleveland, some parts of Lincoln County, and now all of Rutherford County.
Okay. Do they need to have specific needs to be able to get care that they need? Like,
No, it's very individualized,
Okay.
and much like you were speaking of as far as the conditions of a home, sometimes people's health care needs can get away from them, and they may not realize exactly how much support they do need. So we encourage people to be proactive. We all are aging, and we know that things are going to become more difficult. So the sooner a family recognizes those things and reaches out to us, the more we're able to improve their quality of life, and the quicker we're able to do so as well.
okay. And they should probably call whenever let's say, frequent falls. If there's frequent falls, that's kind of a red flag. Mom's fallen a lot. She's fallen 3 times in the past 4 months. There's some red flags here. We need to pay attention to. She should not be living in this house by herself. There are some things we need to look at.
Yeah, we get a lot of calls for that very reason. And naturally, it may not be the individual's goal to get support at that time. The sooner that we can meet with them and explain the program and gain their trust and assure them that we just want to act as an extension of their family and an additional care team for that individual, hopefully we can reduce those falls, reduce hospitalizations, reduce short-term rehab stays, and get any durable medical equipment that may be conducive to keeping them safer at home. So not only frequent falls, but frequent hospitalizations, or maybe just they don't have transportation to make their medical appointments, or they no longer can drive. So maybe inability to make those appointments have caused them to not get their medications refilled or get certain lab works that they need in a timely manner. So we are able to do all of those things at the Adult Day Center, which makes things a lot more easier to manage. That way, when they get back home, they can just focus on remaining healthy and safe at home.
Now, I see the buses everywhere. Yes. I don't know if everybody else sees them. The Senior TLC buses are everywhere. Yeah. Is there a set schedule that the buses run? Are there certain things that you provide transportation to and from, and certain things that are just like, no, that's not in the realm of what we do?
There's honestly not. We have individual routes based on the participants' needs. To me, that's the beauty of our program. It's very customized and individualized based on what each of our participants need. So we plan ahead. Our transportation department does a phenomenal job in keeping up with doctor's appointments or Maybe an individual needs assistance shopping in the community or accessing community resources, so they can plan ahead for that, make sure a driver is available, as well as picking individuals up at home and bringing them to the day center each day and then returning them home at the end of the afternoon.
And not everybody comes to the day center,
That's correct.
but they can.
They can. They
Okay.
can, yes. The day center is one of many of the services that we offer. Again, when Danielle and I meet with individuals in their home, if it is a need or a goal of theirs to maybe get outside the home and get a change of scenery, or just come to the day center to socialize with others during the day, we go back and we kind of advocate for that goal for them to the clinical team, and they can incorporate the day center attendance in that individual care plan.
Okay.
And then others may not have a need. They may have caregivers or family members at home during the day to provide that socialization, and they may not have that need, but we can always modify those care plans if that need should arise for those folks.
Now, what kinds of things happen at the day center?
Well, that's where all the fun happens. So there's several scheduled activities during the day. I think they play bingo about every day because most people love
They love
bingo.
bingo.
They paint, they make jewelry, they do crafts, they do trivia. I think I went by the other day. There's a group that's started a card game now, card table. They were doing some kind of, the women were in there doing some type of facial exercises the other day, some kind of fun activity. So there's different activities every day, all day long.
Now, are 3 meals or 2 meals served
You
a day?
get a snack in the morning, a lunch during the day, and then a snack in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they can also get a shower there if they need to. Is that part of the services, or that's just there in case something, maybe their home wasn't conducive and they need an assisted shower?
That's part of one of the assessments that the home care coordinator does to see if it's safer for our staff to shower them in the home, or if it's going to be safer for the participant and the staff member in the center, because we have
Okay.
a huge shower changing room in there.
It is
Yeah,
huge.
'cause you know,
That's why I mentioned that. That's
well,
like,
some of these mill
it's a
houses,
great
you know,
facility.
it's hard to get into some
Yeah.
of these mill houses' bathrooms, so
Yeah.
we look at all that to see
Okay.
where it's going to be safe for both of them.
So it's just an option in case you have to have that. That's an option there
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
Now, when someone signs up for services, what kinds of information are they going to need to have with them when they're ready to sign up? Do they need information from their doctors? Do they need just their ID and social security and insurance cards? Like, what kinds of information do they need to have with them?
At the first visit, it can be just very minimal information. The first visit that Danielle and I can make to an individual's home is basically just to hear their story, tell them a little bit more in depth about how we can best support them and their goals in maintaining their health at home. As we get into the enrollment process, which can either be at that first home visit or another time, we do have to get a little bit more information about their medical history, find out what all doctors are currently involved in their care, so that we can request records from those providers as well. We also ask some insurance and financial information so that we can ensure that you know, we can get their insurance approved to cover the services that we provide.
Okay. And this is a lot different than, say, home health care or, you know, physical therapy and OT. Those are short-term things. Senior TLC, this is a long-term. This is going to be something that you sign on for a long period of time. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yes.
In how that works? Okay.
Yep, you're correct. When we enroll an individual with senior TLC, they can remain enrolled in our program unless they make a decision that it's not working for what their goals are, or they're just unhappy with the program. We don't see that very often, so we can follow individuals all the way through end of life.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and learn more about senior TLC.
The only prediction I'd make is I'd be pretty willing to bet I won't be doing it in 20 more years.
My question is, where's our residual checks?
144 have taken Republican ballots, and Wes and 2 others have taken Libertarian ballots.
Pravda, however, PBS, however,
Wes.
Wes.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
For many kids, just showing up to school is a challenge. Staying through graduation is even harder. So at Communities and Schools, we do just what our name says. Our staff brings a community of resources to meet each student's needs right in their school, doing whatever it takes to keep kids focused so they see what we see, a bright future. Join in at communitiesinschools.org.
Chef Paul Prudhomme once said, "You don't need a silver fork to eat good food." Well, on Cleveland County Kitchen, we don't have a silver fork, but we sure do serve up lots of good food. Hi, I'm Deborah Blanton. I hope you'll join me for the next Cleveland County Kitchen. Each month, we offer a complete farm-to-table experience. We visit local growers, we learn about nutrition, and wrap things up with wonderful meals prepared by our guest chefs. It's a lot of fun. I hope you'll join me for the next Cleveland County Kitchen.
Here in Cleveland County, many children struggle to develop due to the lack of guidance and shortage of positive role models. At the Boys and Girls Club, we make it our team's mission to aid your child in becoming a better student and, more importantly, a better person with a brighter future.
When your child comes to the club, you can be assured they are being guided in a manner that is beneficial to the growth as an adult that is visible in their lives. Please consider giving your child the opportunity to be the absolute best they can possibly be.
Please support your local Boys and Girls Club today.
Welcome back to Senior Moments. I'm Jackie Sibley Newton, your host, and we've been talking with Senior TLC representatives Brandy Willis and Danielle Kraft. And we want to talk a little bit about some of the unique things offered by Senior TLC. I know you have a physician in-house, but there's a whole clinical care team. So tell me a little bit about what that looks like for the people who are signed up for services with Senior TLC.
The main thing about Senior TLC is there's no decision made for any of our participants. That's the word that we use for individuals enrolled in our program. There's no decision made by one individual. Each need or each goal gets discussed by our clinical care team, and after many assessments by various clinicians, they come up with an individualized care plan for each participant. So I love that team approach, and it's proven to be successful.
And on staff in that clinical team, you have physical therapy, you have occupational therapy, you have speech therapy, you have a social worker.
We do. We have our primary care provider, which is either an MD or a nurse practitioner. Mm-hmm. Of course, we have an RN, a registered nurse, that assists the provider. We have a master's level social worker on all of our clinical teams, physical therapist, occupational therapist, in-home aides. We have behavioral health services, our own transportation department, our own pharmacy. So there are several different disciplines or clinicians that make up each of those teams.
So every need can be addressed at any point.
Yes.
For anybody. Now let's talk about people with dementia. What does that look like through Senior TLC when one of the participants has dementia? How do we work through that?
Usually that information is revealed to us when we get a referral or when somebody calls and has interest in the program. Mm-hmm. When that happens, we have a phenomenal memory care specialist or dementia care specialist. Her name is Vernell Mitchell. She's part of our enrollment team and community education team. If we know ahead of time, we often invite Vernell to go out with us and just lend her expertise in that area for the families. She also does a caregiver support group each month. So again, that's just an extension to families to support them. It's after hours, so a lot of family members can come after work for that once a month to get that that extra support as well.
Okay. Are you normally able to keep dementia residents or participants in homes with the support? Can they still come to the center?
They can.
Okay.
There's actually kind of a unique area within the center. As you well know, some people with dementia or Alzheimer's, they may have a tendency to wander or roam around a little bit, which is perfectly fine. We want them to be themselves and explore, but we want them to be safe while they do that. So we do have a more secured area. There is a little bit higher staff to participant ratio in that area, so that there's a little bit more eyes on those individuals and making sure that they're safe, and they also are engaged in activities throughout the day. Maybe they need a little bit more hands-on support or redirection if they get agitated or a little nervous. And then we also have a snoozling area or a snoozling room, which is an area that any individual, if they get a little overstimulated, if it gets a little noisy, they can go into the snoozling area just to de-escalate, hear some soothing sounds and calming lights, and just kind of get back to a more calm state.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that room.
Yes, it's very cozy. in
That
there.
room is very cool.
Yes, it is.
I want one of those in my house and my office. It's a very cool room. So and what are the hours of the center?
We're open Monday through Friday from 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock.
And you're closed on holidays?
We are. We are closed on holidays. And each family gets a packet of information as soon as they join that lets them know ahead of time of our planned closings. Of course, if there are instances of inclement weather or anything of that nature where we have to close unplanned, we have several different ways that we notify families. We send a text out to our families and caregivers, and then we also make phone calls. Of course, it's on our Facebook page. And then in those instances, all of us as the staff are also making calls to families to make sure that they have everything that they need since we had an unexpected closing.
Okay. So they should have some notice so they can make other arrangements.
Absolutely.
Or plan. Maybe if it's a snow day, they're probably going to be able to stay home or have someone stay home with their participant as well.
Absolutely.
So hopefully it works that way. Now, there is also, for family caregiver burnout, there's some support for caregiver burnout for family members who are caring for them. What kind of support can be offered for the families? Because this is a whole package. You're there for everybody, not just the participants. So how do you address that?
That's something that we see, we've all been in healthcare for a very long time, so we've saw that for years. Again, we encourage families to be proactive. We encourage families to, not take on more than they can handle and reach out as early as possible for any assistance that they need in caring for their loved one. But it is inevitable sometimes that people do need a break. So we try to incorporate any type of additional services or modifications to the care plans that will allow that. If, for example, if when we meet somebody, they're only interested in coming into the day center a couple of days a week, just as an outlet. As things progress or become more difficult, maybe they need to start coming 5 days a week. We, or the clinical team rather, can easily meet, do some assessments, and if they agree that that is a good solution, they can modify that care plan for some additional reprieve for the family members. So the individual could come to the center more than originally planned.
And then there's also a chaplain.
There is a chaplain. I'm very proud to talk about that position. I'm a firm believer that it's not only our physical health, our mental health, but also our spiritual health that encompasses all of our well-being. So we are so happy that we've added that position to our care teams, and he's available. His name is Daniel Rushing, and he's available at several of the senior TLC sites. He offers just individualized sessions for individuals that may need to meet with him individually. He also does some Bible study, and he kind of has a multi-denominational approach so that we meet the spiritual needs of all of our participants.
And that's a good support for the families as well,
Absolutely.
to have that option to just call and say, hey, I need to talk, and just maybe have that outlet as well.
Yes, he's been phenomenal.
That's
I'm
great.
very, very happy to have him.
So let's just kind of circle back around. If people need more information, the first step is to contact you. They can either come in, look at the website, call. Is there any kind of forms or information on the website that's going to be helpful to them right up front?
You could also schedule stuff through the website, like you could schedule
Okay.
a tour. We've had several do that here in the last couple weeks. You could look at the website to look at all the fun things we're doing. It explains the program. We have a Facebook page, Instagram page, or you could just call up and talk to somebody in the enrollment department, and they'll go over everything. There's
Okay.
really nothing to fill out ahead of time.
Okay. So they can get a lot of information by researching a little bit online, but also just pick up the phone and call and ask
Yep.
whatever questions come to mind.
Yes.
And then the next step would be someone would probably meet with them or schedule a meeting to do the assessment and go over those specific needs, because every plan seems to be very personalized based on that person's needs.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So after that, then you kind of work with them. How long does it normally take someone to get enrolled?
Typically, it is a little bit longer process than that of a typical home health referral, simply because we don't want to just jump in blind and starting to care for someone's family member. We want to make sure that we do the clinical assessments. The care team recognizes exactly what areas they need to focus on and make recommendations on. And also, we're working on what's called a PACE Medicare application and PACE Medicaid application during that enrollment process. So about 4 to 6 weeks is typically the turnaround time. Sometimes it happens a little bit quicker, and sometimes it might take a little longer depending on the situation of each individual.
And are there any kind of income requirements? Does just anybody qualify regardless of income?
They do. Since we are a nonprofit organization, we do use a sliding scale to determine if an individual may have a small monthly payment to Senior TLC or not, just like they would to any other insurance company.
Okay.
But that's information that we can either talk about on the phone during that first initial contact or at the first home visit whenever we go out.
Okay. And the age requirements? They have to be 55 or older?
Yes, that's correct. 55 years old and older.
have a need of some
Yes.
kind. Okay. Well, this has been very useful information. I appreciate you being on the show, and I hope everyone will come out and look at the facility if they haven't seen it. It's a beautiful facility. I know you don't have time to do tours all day, every day, but it is a beautiful facility.
It is.
It's a beautiful
is.
building, and it has so much, so many unique features to it and so much to offer. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for watching Senior TLC on Senior Moments. I hope that you've enjoyed the show. If you have any other questions about any guest that's been on the show, please find me at Terabella. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. And be sure to share that link with your friends and family on C19.tv. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you back next time.